Good evening. I'm going to call to order the Corporate and Community Services Standing Committee of Monday, December 5, 2022. And we'll start with the reading of the land acknowledgement, and Councillor Baines will be doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. For more than 15,000 years, the First Nations walked upon and cared for the lands we now call home. Anishinaabek, Haudenosaunee, Ojibwe, and many others who were families, friends, and communities, the way we are today. The town of Collingwood acknowledges the Lake Simcoe-Nottawasaga Treaty of 1818 and the relationship it establishes with the original inhabitants of Turtle Island. We acknowledge the reality of our shared history and the current contributions of Indigenous people within our community. We seek to continue empowering expressions of pride amongst all of the diverse stakeholders in this area. We seek to do better and to continue to recognize, learn, and grow in friendship and community, nation to nation.
Thank you. The next item is the adoption of the agenda, and it reads as follows: that the content of the Corporate and Community Services Standing Committee agenda for December 5, 2022 be adopted as presented. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Deputy Mayor Fryer and Councillor Doherty, thank you. All those in favor? And that's unanimous, thank you. Would there be any business arising from previous meeting? Seeing none, are there any declarations of pecuniary interest this evening? See none. Would there be any deputations? No, and the clerk is advising there are no deputations. The next item on the agenda are the reports and minutes of other committees and boards. So I'm going to read in together items 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3, and then because there is a recommendation for 6.4, we'll deal with that separately. Okay, so it reads as follows: that the minutes of the various committees and boards provided below be received and recommendations contained therein approved. 6.1, Accessibility Advisory Committee minutes, September 15 and October 27, 2022. 6.2, Collingwood Downtown BIA Board of Management minutes, September 8, 2022, October 13, 2022, and November 10, 2022. And also 6.3, Museum Advisory Committee meeting minutes, September 22, 2022. And could I have a mover and a seconder for this? Councillor Perry and Councillor Doherty, thank you. Any comments on these minutes? Questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of this being received and approved, thank you. That's unanimous. 6.4, this relates to the minutes of the Trails and Active Transportation Advisory Committee. And in particular, there's a recommendation here because the BIA has reached out to ask that one of the items in their minutes be referred to them for consideration, and also staff have indicated they would like to also provide an update on this. So the recommendation is that the Trails and Active Transportation Advisory Committee recommends to Council that a community safety zone is created on Hurontario Street between 1st Street and 4th Street with reduced speed and appropriate signage to identify the area as a high pedestrian area. Signage prohibiting large vehicle traffic is also requested. So this is from October 13, 2022 minutes. So what I'm going to suggest is that we receive and that the recommendations contained therein be approved, and this would be relating to the Trails and Active Transportation Advisory Committee minutes of September 9 and November 10th. So we'll deal with that first. Could I have a mover and a seconder for that, please? Councillor Baines and Councillor Ring, thank you. All those in favor? And that's unanimous. So with respect to this recommendation that I've just read in, the intent would be that the reports back would be to the next meeting of this committee being the Corporate and Community Services Standing Committee. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please, for this? Councillor Doherty and Councillor Ring, thank you. And go ahead, Clerk Almas.
Certainly, thank you, Your Worship. So the resolution then as prepared will be that this motion will be referred to the BIA for comment and staff for feedback prior to the next, for discussion at our next Corporate and Community Services.
Thank you. That's perfect. Was there any comment? Yes, Councillor Doherty.
Yes, I actually have a question, and I'll pose this through you to the CAO. Actually, this is a very timely motion. I received a note from a resident a couple of days ago describing a near miss at the corner of Hurontario Street and Hume Street involving a heavy truck vehicle. And the writer advised me that this is not the first time that this kind of occurrence has happened. And I mean, when one considers the design of that intersection, the fact that I think to some degree it might be counterintuitive that there is a crosswalk on the south side of that road because there's no corresponding intersection or roadway there. So anyway, all to say that I'm wondering if some consideration could be made to looking at that proposal and including up to Hume Street.
Okay. So that would be your motion to amend. The motion for the staff and BIA report or update to include Hurontario Street between First Street and Hume Street. Yeah. Could I have a seconder for that? Councillor Baines, thank you. Any comment on that? Yes, Councillor Baines.
It's somewhat allied to the spirit of this whole motion, but depending upon the BIA's response as well and how council feels, which I'm in support of the aim of this motion, I would again bring up my point about those signs on Hurontario saying pedestrians must yield to traffic. It's only appropriate that if we do within the spirit of what this motion is trying to achieve, that perhaps we'll change those signs too and flip them. Traffic must yield to pedestrians. At any rate, that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. That might fit in within what the intent of the motion, I guess, being the community safety zone concept. So thank you for that. Yes, CEO Skinner.
Thank you. I think I had two-part questions. I wasn't sure. When we have traffic yielding to a pedestrian, it typically is under the types of signalization that are set out in the highway traffic manual and the associated other books. If we wish to do that, that would probably be a bigger study of its own, potentially as part of the larger transportation study. You wouldn't want a person to walk out into the roadway and then find that the vehicle did have the right of way when it comes down to it. So it is I don't disagree with the philosophy. It's just a matter of getting the right study and the actual changes in configuration and signage that would support the pedestrian. We do have two studies underway. One is a speed study that, in fact, we'll talk about when we reply back, should you endorse this proposed motion, as well as the larger transportation study that is proposed in the budget for 23. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Was there any other comment or questions at this time? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is our consent agenda, and what this means is that this is correspondence that has been forwarded to the town, and so what we have here before us is this, and that council herein receive the general consent agenda, and further that the information and opinions provided in the general consent agenda items are that of the author and are not verified or approved as being correct. 7.1. Collingwood Collegiate Institute, Hockey Day in Collingwood. And the staff recommendation with respect to this correspondence is that council support the request to waive ice rental associated with Hockey Day in Collingwood event taking place on January 18, 2023. And could I have a mover and a seconder for this, please? Councillor Ring, Deputy Mayor Fryer. That's Councillor Potts. Okay, I need my dinner. Okay. Anyone else? Oh, blood sugar's dropping. I'm almost there. Okay. So I was going to see if there might be a staff person who would like to just give us a little update on Hockey Day. And there would be our Director Culver. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Yeah, so prior to COVID, this was actually a bit of an annual request. It goes back many years. The Hockey Day in Canada and Collingwood has been around for quite a while. However, a change to the in-kind process that we undertook several years ago meant that school board events weren't eligible into the in-kind. So it moved to outside of staff delegation and into the hands of council to approve. So prior to COVID, the high school would show up every year and ask for a waiver of the fees. Council, I think, has never denied it, which kind of makes sense. And so staff are happy to endorse, we'll follow whatever council's direction is, but we're happy to recommend that it be waived.
Okay, thank you so much. Any comments from council? Yes, Councillor Potts.
Yes, thank you, Worship. I think this program, I'm in support of it. Given the last couple of years of what our youth in the community have had to face with the challenges of COVID, and this being a program that offers every child to have an opportunity. I think it's a great thing, initiative for the community, and I'd be in support of it.
Thank you, Councillor Baines.
I'm in support of this, but just to ask the question, what is the monetary value of such a motion that we pass?
Okay, that will be a question for Director Culver.
Thank you, Mayor Hamlin. And I knew somebody was going to ask, and I've been looking through my emails to find out what the number is. I believe it's somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe $2,000, but I can share with council once I have it definitively. I can share it in an email. My apologies for not being prepared with that. I have it here somewhere.
Skinner may have her finger on the answer.
I have it on good authority from Director Culver's written correspondence to me several days ago. It is $2,625 approximately.
Thank you.
Close.
And is this, maybe here's my question, is this at the Eddie Bush then?
Yeah, correct. Thank you, Mayor Hamlin. Yes, it is at the Eddie Bush, and it's a very popular event. Lots of turnout, lots of community spirit. It's as Councillor Potts mentioned, it's an excellent opportunity for the community to come and support their youth.
Sounds like fun. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you, Director Culver. I think we can bring this to a vote. All those in favor? And that's passed unanimously. There are no departmental updates this evening. Are there any public delegations, Clerk Almas? No, there are none. Other business. So we don't need to elect anything here. No, there's no other business unless someone on council has other business to bring here tonight. And so we're at a speedy resolution to this meeting, and I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. Deputy Mayor Fryer, thank you. All those in favor? Thank you, members of council. That was a great day, and we got lots accomplished.